Want to learn how to save money and become rich? Welcome to How to Build Wealth 101. In this video, I'm going to show you some simple ways to make and save money. You're going to learn how to budget, save smart, and grow your money over time. And this is for people that either already have a bunch of money, maybe you just recently received it, or you're starting out. Even if you're starting out, you'll be able to learn from this video. Let's learn together. Don't forget to tell us your own money tips in the comments below. I'd love to hear those. Hello, my name is Tommy Cloud. I am president of Third Act Retirement Planning. It's a company that I started back in 2000. I'm also a certified financial planner, qualified Kingdom advisor, chartered financial consultant, accredited as asset management specialist, and I got a degree in finance when I was in college. What I want to do right now is I want to talk about setting money goals. First, you need to know what you want to do with your money. Do you want to buy a house? Do you want to save money for vacation? Do you want to save money for a car? What about all of those? Some goals are going to be you can reach real soon, like saving $1,000, and others take longer, like paying cash for a car. You want to have clear goals. It's going to help you make better choices with your money. Now, here's the key to goals is that you need to write them down. Trust me when I tell you, writing them down is going to work. They did a study years ago, and from decades ago, but they studied the most successful graduates, and I think it was from an Ivy League school like Harvard or Yale, and they tried to find the difference between the successful Yale graduates or Harvard graduates and the ones that were more successful. And what they found was the ones that were successful had a written plan that they carried around with them and for what they want to achieve over the next 5 years. So you really do, I think, should write down your goals. And, the biblical principle that's going to go with that is going to be commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He will establish your plans. That's Proverbs 16:3. There's other verses in there that you can find. Man makes his plans, but the Lord directs his path. However, people fail for lack of vision is another verse in Scripture. But the bottom line is that you want to set money goals, you want to write them down. And make sure you have them either stored on your phone, computer, where you can access them, or carry them around the old-fashioned way in your wallet. Number two, let's talk about making a budget. It doesn't matter how much money you have. I have a client of mine that's in retirement, and they work for a Fortune 500 company, and their yearly income was $250,000 or $300,000 a year retired. That does not include Social Security. They work for a private corporation like, let's say, Gillette. They did not work for Gillette, but I'm just giving an example. And so they had $250,000 coming in a year, plus their Social Security, which probably took them, well over $300,000 a year. Let's say for he and his wife, it was $310,000 a year, but they still spent too much. They bought too many homes, and they ended up having to go back to work, if you can believe that. So here's the thing about a budget. A budget is like a plan for money. It helps you know how much money you get, how much money you spend, and how much money you can save. Write down everything you earn and everything you buy. Now, you can, with the software, there's like YNAB, there's Quicken, there's QuickBooks, there's all types of money, finance softwares that you can hook to your bank account. And some banks even have software built in. But you want to split your spending into things that you need and the things that you want, like toys or games. Things you need, of course, food, your rent, or your mortgage. Check your budget every month and make sure you're on track. I do this using Quicken. So I run everything through Quicken, and I label it properly, particularly on the business side as it flows out. And so my bank tracks a lot of my personal spending that we do. The biblical principle on this is that the wise store up choice food and olive oil, but fools gulp down theirs, as Proverbs 21:20. Another related teaching in Proverbs 13:11 is wealth quickly gotten dwindles away, but amassed little by little it grows. And if you have a budget, you're able to save consistently, or maybe you just have received this large sum of money. Well, it's going to be very important for you, whether you're retired, sold your business, got inheritance, or won a lawsuit. It's going to be very important for you to be able to take your money and not start spending what you receive, but spend based only on what you earn. So keep that in mind. Grow. So now I want to talk about growing your money. You can make your money grow by investing it. This means putting it into things like, a savings account. That's going to be for emergencies and things like that. You can also use HSA's account, which I've talked about in other videos. Stock market, and that's going to be pieces of companies. And then houses or buildings, just real estate investing. You can do precious metals investing. Those are going to be the big three for inflation. I'll say have less fraud, have less issues. You can also get into private equity, private credit are also great things you get into. Hedge funds have excellent return. You want to make sure you have long track records. experienced managers and proper due diligence as you get into those private equity situations and hedge funds. When you invest, your money's going to work for you. Remember, though, it takes time to see your money grow. Hey, just wanted to jump in here for some station identification real quick. You can see I've changed shirts and glasses. So you're probably pretty observant about that. Anyway, Tommy Cloud here, president of Third Act Retirement Planning. My company's been around I've been doing this since 2000. Studied finance in college. I've got 4 different advanced degrees, including the Certified Financial Planner designation. I eat, sleep, and breathe this stuff and have for a very long time. And if you want me to take a look at your portfolio, me and my team, you can send me, I'll set up a link down there. You send me your statements and we'll go through and have a kind of second opinion on your portfolio. We'll take a look at it, answer questions you might have about it, how you're invested, what you're specifically invested in, what your fees are, and there's no cost for that. If you'll just go ahead and click on the link below, if that's something you want. If not, go ahead and continue enjoying this video. Because markets go up and down. So don't give up if it seems slow at first, especially if you're in your 30s, 40s, or even 50s now. If you're 55 and you're going to live to 80, you got 25 years there. So keep that in mind. You do want to invest for inflation, and you are going to need to take risk. And what I want to do is focus on the parable of the talents for this concept. Matthew 25 verses 14 through 30. In this parable, the master is going to take his wealth, or talents as it's called in scripture, and actually give it to 3 different servants. And before he goes on the journey. Now, of course, this master is God himself, the creator of the universe and the creator of you and the creator of... And so God takes his money and gives it to each servant according to his ability. Now, the first servant gets 5. The second servant is going to get 2. And then the third servant is going to get 1. So and then you go over the actions of the servant. The first 2 servants immediately put the money to work and to work through trading. You use the word trading there, actually in the word-for-word translations. And both of them doubled their initial amount. And they showed initiative, they showed personal responsibility. However, the third servant went ahead and just dug a hole and hid the money. And that would be like just sticking it in the bank, taking it into cash and just sticking it. I mean, it wouldn't be like buying gold and having it at your house, because gold, it has averaged about 7 or 8% per year since the US dollar came off the gold standard in 1971. So I'm talking about just putting it in cash, because cash does not keep up with inflation. And usually savings accounts and money market accounts do not either. CDs don't do really great at keeping up with inflation. Now, of course, it's better than nothing. That's at least getting some interest. But this particular servant did absolutely nothing. They literally put into cash. They made no attempt to grow God's money, and they let fear guide their actions. They were afraid of losing it. So in this story, the master returns, or God returns, to look at what he's done with the money that he's given to you and he's given to me. And he says to the faithful servants, he says, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." And he rewards them with even greater responsibility. How about that? So if God's given us money and we're taking it and we're investing it and we're using it to go get more, he gets even more. And they have the saying in college football, the richer. The big schools, Georgia, like that, Notre Dame, I guess, I can't think of others, but schools like that, these big schools that already have great football players, they bring in the best recruiting classes each year on top of that. And so the rich get richer. And that's really a principle from God. Someone not doing anything and getting something in reward for that's not biblical. Handing out all these trophies to kids just for participating is not biblical. Giving your children money when they've done nothing is not biblical. It's actually a form of abuse. Children should be rewarded and given money after they've performed. If they put in the effort and they've performed, they can be given more with whatever it is, whether it's a sport, whether it's their academics, or whether it's you helping them to start a business. We must prove ourselves first, and then little by little more and more responsibility is added if we're trying to emulate God. And so God also says, enter into the joy of your master. The unfaithful servant in this parable, if you go back and read it, is actually condemned for his laziness and his fear. He just, I'm just going to take it into cash and just sit it here at my house. I'm going to just get it and sit on it. And God actually points out the unfaithful servant could have at least taken the money and got interest. You can at least take the money. Me and you can at least take the money and put into bonds or CDs or something, treasury bills or something. I mean, God's saying that's even better than just taking it and sticking it in cash. What would be the equivalent of sticking it in cash? Probably a low earning, savings or checking account, or literally taking it home to our house in cash. I don't think a lot of people would do that. And then literally God took away one of his talents, took away the one talent that he had. He just took it away. He had severe punishment. So the stewardship principle that we can learn here is that we are responsible for managing what we've been given. We need to trade it. We need to take risk. God expects us to take action with the resources he's given us, and more is going to be expected from those that are given more. So if you've received a large money, if you're retiring, or if you're, have won an award from a lawsuit or something, then there's a lot expected of you. And there's rewards for faithfulness, and there are penalties for unfaithfulness or laziness, or being afraid. The next topic is going to be money in different ways. Rich people will often make money from many places, not just one job. So you and I could start a small business. We could sell things that we make with chores. We could save money that earns interest, more than what we've been talking about. There's many small business ideas. You'll have to look at that. Rental properties, and there's all different types of ideas on what you can do. Biblical principle that goes to that is Ecclesiastes 11:2. You'll hear me quote that frequently. Invest in 7 ventures, yes, even to 8. You do not know what danger may fall upon the earth. And this gets into diversification as well. You don't just want to have it in one thing. You don't want to take all your money and just put it in U.S. stocks or foreign stocks or real estate or gold or any one. You diversify, or bonds or whatever it may be, or private equity, private credit. And the other thing is that we want to be free with money. You want to be free with your money. Being free with money means having saved enough so you don't have to worry about bills. And to get there, what you're going to want to do is, if you didn't receive a large lump sum, if you're starting from the very beginning, you're going to want to save money every time you get paid. And look, you can use this principle even if you do have a large sum of money. Let's say you have $600,000 sitting in investment accounts, retirement accounts, or accounts, annuities, whatever it may be, variable annuities, hopefully, low fee variable annuities if you're going to use annuities at all. But let's just say it's sitting in stocks or whatever, you still can continue saving money every time you get paid. So this doesn't have to be for newbies. It's for people maybe that already have a tremendous amount of money. You might have millions. Don't spend more than you make. Still, same principle applies if you're trying to grow the money. You want to save for unexpected problems, and you want to continue to learn more and more about money. You don't want it to consume you. What you want to consume you is love of God and love of others. However, you do want to learn more about money, and the key principle is to stay out of debt. There's just no reason to go into personal debt long term if you don't have to. By personal debt, I am talking about cars, furniture, credit card, those type of things. I'm not talking about your mortgage or maybe a business loan or maybe a college loan. Those I do not consider to be personal debt. But even those debts, you do eventually want to get rid of those as well. Proverbs 22:7 says the borrower is slave to the lender. Certainly we don't want to be slaves. The Bible also says in Romans, let no debt remain outstanding except the continuing debt to love one another. And I forgot exactly where that verse is in Romans, but I'm sure you can look it up. And then we want to look at just general tips from rich people. If we just look at the general tips that they give us, and they will say, spend less than you earn. This, again, principle applies whether you have millions saved up or not. You still save less than you earn. You want to save money regularly. You want to learn about money stuff. And again, you want to ask smart people for help and be patient. Those are 5 tips from rich people. One more time, spend less than you earn, number 1. Number 2, save money regularly. Number 3, learn about money, read about it, watch YouTube videos about it, watch documentaries about it, movies, read books. Number 4, ask smart people for help. The Bible talks about that, getting victory in a multitude of counselors. And then number 5, be patient. So important to be patient. And then we have dealing with money problems. When the seas of change come, when your boat starts to rock, some things do go wrong with money. You might have surprise bills. You might lose money. You might have $1 million plus in the stock market, and it might drop 37%. And if you don't have any protection of any type, that's going to be pretty stressful to see your money go down $370,000 in this particular scenario. Maybe you need to spend it on something big. You have a hole in your roof or something, and you need to have your roof replaced. We know that's not cheap. You total your car, and the insurance company only gives you half of what it's worth. Don't give up. Ask for help from people that you know about money, that you respect. Every problem is a chance to learn. You only have one life on this earth. If you're born again and you've trusted Jesus Christ with your life, remember this place isn't your home. All the stuff that happens here pales in comparison in importance to what will happen in eternity. The way that you and I handle these troubles and the things that come our way is going to be either rewarded or not in eternity. And this has nothing to do with whether or not you or I get into heaven. I'm referring to our rewards in heaven that God talks about throughout His Scripture, the different types of crowns and rewards. So we do want to handle things the best we can. We do want to remember very much so, and I've already talked about this in that lazy, fearful servant up above in the parable of the talents, that third servant that only got 1 talent. 2 Timothy 1:7 says, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." When troubles come our way, let's remember that Christ promised us that on this earth we would have trouble, but He said to be of good cheer because He has overcome the world. So we're done with most of that teaching stuff. Let's talk about what to do next. I'd love for you to share your own money tips in the comments below. I'm sure there's some things that are not mentioned in this video that are good things that you can put down there. Watch some other videos that we have about money as well. Remember, anyone can learn to be good with money if they try hard and keep, as my daughters used to cheer for their high school, never give up, never give in. Remember these main things from the video. I want to again summarize. Set clear money goals, make and follow a budget, save and grow your money, and find different ways to make money. A great biblical foundation to remember about all of this, to honor the Lord with your wealth, with the first fruits of all your crops. We want to view money management as stewardship of resources entrusted by God. It's not ours, it's His. You can do this, I can do this. Let's take small steps every day and we'll see our money grow. Let's not be arrogant. If you've got $10 million sitting in an account, let's not be arrogant and think this doesn't apply to you. It absolutely does. In fact, it applies arguably more to you than anybody else because you have much more required upon you to be a respected than the rest of us. The Bible is very clear about that in other sections in Luke and the parable of the talents that I've mentioned in this video. Continue to watch our videos and learn from it. And as always, I ask if you've learned from these videos, you've enjoyed them, please go ahead, like and subscribe.